Okay, what if I told you there's a complete step-by-step blueprint to just absolutely skyrocket your TikTok growth? Well, today, we're breaking down an exact AI-powered strategy that's designed to do just that, and do it crazy fast.
So, let's just get right to it. The big question. 100,000 followers in just 90 days? I know. It sounds pretty much impossible, right? Well, believe it or not, the answer is yes, and we are about to unpack the exact path that can make it a reality.
But before we get into the how, let's talk a little bit about the why. I want you to just take a look at this number, $22,000. What in the world does that have to do with getting TikTok followers?
Well, this was the peak monthly income for a creator named Sarah Chen from her TikTok account. Her story is basically the case study for this entire strategy. She followed this exact blueprint, and now we're going to pull back the curtain and show you precisely how she did it.
So let's get into the proof behind the promise. Sarah's story is just such a powerful real-world example of what happens when you combine a really solid strategy with just, being consistent.
Just look at the acceleration on this timeline. It's insane. Sarah started from absolute zero, nothing. 2 weeks in, she's at 2,100 followers. By day 30, she's already over 18,000. And then the growth just explodes. It hits nearly 80,000 by day 60, and finally she crosses that 100,000 mark in just 87 days. That, right there, is the power of momentum.
So how'd she do it? Well, it all started with a really clear content strategy. She was not just throwing spaghetti at the wall to see what sticks. A huge 60% of her content was purely educational. That established her as an authority. Then 25% was dedicated to her personal stories, which is what builds that trust and real connection. And that last 15%, that was for jumping on trending topics to get as much reach as possible. This mix, it's absolutely crucial.
And this right here, this is the core philosophy. Sarah says the secret isn't about burning yourself out posting constantly, it's about posting smarter. Every single video was engineered from the ground up to keep people watching until the very end. And that focus on completion rate is the golden key that unlocks the TikTok algorithm.
So the key takeaway here is that none of this is random, it's a system. So let's get into the blueprint itself. It breaks down the entire 90-day journey into 3 distinct, totally manageable phases.
Here's the roadmap. First, you build your foundation to get to that first 10,000 followers. Then, you hit the acceleration phase to push all the way to 50,000. And finally, you scale to reach that 100,000 milestone and, go even further. Each phase has a totally different focus.
Okay, phase 1. Your entire job for the first month is just to learn. You define your niche, you test at least 5 different ways to hook a viewer in those first 3 seconds, and you post consistently, 2 to 3 times a day. But listen, the most important action here, respond to every single comment. This is you telling the algorithm, hey, I'm building a community here, I'm not just broadcasting.
Right, once you have that initial data, phase 2 is all about momentum. You scale up your posting, you analyze what worked in that first month, and you double down on it, hard. You start using trends strategically and begin creating multi-part series to keep viewers coming back for more. Now, in the final push, the focus totally shifts from quantity to quality. You're creating higher value, pillar content. Think like comprehensive guides or really deep dives. You're intentionally creating videos that have real viral potential, and you start thinking about making money by beginning your brand outreach. This is where you really solidify your presence.
Now I know what you're thinking. Everything I just described, it sounds like a full-time job. And honestly, it would be, without the secret weapon. Let's talk about the AI stack that makes this whole plan not just possible, but actually manageable. This is the 10x factor.
This comparison really says it all. Without AI, you could easily spend over 6 hours on just one video. With the right AI tools, you can create 3, often higher quality videos in just 2 hours. This isn't about cutting corners. It's about a massive leap in efficiency.
So here it is, the core toolkit. You've got ChatGPT for spitting out amazing hooks and scripts in minutes. You use Trend Talk AI to predict what's about to go viral before it does. Opus Clip is a game changer for turning one long video into 10 different TikToks. And CapCut is amazing for free AI-powered captions. The total investment for this whole efficiency engine, it's less than $70 a month.
At the end of the day, all of these tools, this entire strategy, it serves one master metric: completion rate. This is what the TikTok algorithm obsesses over.
If you can get 80% of people to finish your video, you're basically sending a giant signal to TikTok that you have something special, and it will push your content out to a massive audience.
Okay, so you've built the audience. Awesome. How does that actually translate into income? The monetization map shows how this whole journey can evolve from, maybe a side hustle into a real business.
And monetization starts way sooner than you might think. At just 10,000 followers, if you combine things like the Creator Fund, small brand deals, and affiliate marketing, an income of around $2,700 a month is totally achievable.
Now at 50,000 followers, everything changes. Your leverage with brands increases dramatically. The deals get bigger, and you unlock more powerful tools like the TikTok Shop, which can push your potential monthly earnings well into the 5-figure range. And at 100,000 followers, you are effectively running a media company. With a whole portfolio of income streams, from major brand partnerships and sponsored content all the way to your own digital products, your earning potential can easily reach and even go beyond 35 grand a month. And that brings us right back to Sarah Chen's $22,000 peak, which now seems totally plausible, right?
I want to leave you with this incredible insight from another creator, Marcus Johnson. He built a nearly 100K follower account without ever showing his face. His point is so powerful. The algorithm rewards value. It doesn't care if you're a big on-screen personality or a totally faceless educator, as long as you deliver value that keeps people watching.
And, that really brings us to the final question, the one for you. You've now seen the entire blueprint, the strategy, the tools, the monetization path, but it all starts with just one thing. So what value are you going to create first?